Hey, we back. I'm here and I'm talking about another chart. Congrats, I found another chart to talk about. Now this one is actually slightly relevant. Well, they're all relevant, that's why I make videos on them. But the point is I get quite a lot of people asking about which gems are better, which rarities are better. Now generally this is a pretty obvious question. The rarer ones are better, that is always true. And considering you can equip one of each type of gem at the same time, you just want to use the highest rarity ones you've got, unless you want to do strategy and save them for events or distorted or whatever, right? I've talked about this stuff before, check out my OO inventory video, but I thought I'd mention the rarity specifically, partly because it is something that I get asked often and making a video on it might help, and also because I actually learned something looking at this chart, which would be the effect that lucky gems have. There you go, it does actually list that here, so cool. Fabled lucky gem gives a 7 times chance. Now this chart, once again, is something you can find in the official OWO server, pinned messages, but you know what, this time I'm just going to put it in the description as well, because I get someone asking every time where the chart is. I say every time it's in the official OWO server, and then someone still asks. So seriously, you should join the server, they have a lot of good stuff in their pins, but I'll put it in the description of the video, sure. The point being simply that we have all of the gems listed here, whether you have them or not, obviously. There's loads of different gems that you can get. You can find them in your inventory, and we've talked about that before in the inventory video. As you can imagine, they have different rarities, and the rarities equate to the same rarities that you have in your zoo. Have a look at your zoo. Of the main rarities, the ones that were in the bot at the start, mind, bot ones, gem ones, and Patreons didn't used to exist. The other ones did. And so that is what the gems are based off. So as you can see, we have common, uncommon, rare, epic, mythic, legendary, and fabled. You can see their percentage drop chance for each gem, and you can see how these are the more rare ones, these are the better ones. Now, something to note is that actually, very much like weapons, the rarity is not necessarily that common is the most common. Common and uncommon are tied, rare and epic are also tied, and they're only 2% behind. In fact, if you look at weapon drop rates, I believe rare is the most common weapon to get dropped, something like a 50% chance. So yeah, it is kind of biased. But we also have here listed the effects of each gem. We can look at the left side and see how to get gems, but I've talked about all of that before, and you probably know that kind of stuff by now. Something to note as well is that the common lucky gem has a +1 times chance of getting a gem animal, not just a 1 times chance, it's a +1 times chance, it doubles your chance. So theoretically you can indeed get gem animals without a lucky gem. It is possible by the looks of this chart, but generally it's going to be very unlikely. So the higher gem you have, the more chance you are. That's not to say that it's impossible to not get one with this. They're still very rare, and of course you can get them without any gem. So don't necessarily expect to be getting loads of gem animals just because you have equipped a high rarity lucky gem. It's still pretty rare, but yeah, a 7 times chance is pretty good. In fact, it would be an 8 times chance overall. Something also to note is that with the empowering gem, you notice all of them are 2 times animals per hunt. That is actually true. All of the empowering gems are just as good as each other. The only effect is how many animals they last. The one thing I haven't talked about on this chart yet is how many animals each gem lasts. They all have different amounts. We've got 25, 25, 50, 75, 75, 100, and 100. And then these 2 gems are the same, 50, 50, 100, 100, all the way up to 1,000 and 1,000. So where the empowering gem is concerned, it actually doesn't matter which gem you use, it only matters how long it lasts. So obviously if you have like 10 common gems, that's a bad example, let's say 20 common gems is exactly the same as 1 fabled gem. If you just kept using them, you would actually be just as efficient. Whereas with this, if you had 20 common hunting gems, it would not be as efficient as 1 fabled hunting gem, because it would take you way longer to get the same number of animals. You'd have to type the command so many more times. But yeah, the empowering gem is actually the same. I was at some point tempted to stop using the high rarity empowering gems and just stick to common, uncommon ones, just because it'd be funny to store up a bunch of fabled empowering gems in my inventory. That's something that you can do if you want. if you think that would be a cool flex. In the end, I didn't. If you can have a look at my inventory. I just use the high rarity empowering gems because I don't really care. But it is something that you can try out if you want. Just use the common ones. All it means is you're going to have to refresh your gem more often. So if you are hunting on a regular basis, you may not be bothered to use the low rarity ones because you're going to have to keep replacing your gems. But yeah, that is actually the only difference that the empowering gem makes. Hunting gem and lucky gem are the ones that you really want. Personally, I think the hunting gem is the most important. So if you want to know my opinion of these 3 gems, hunting gem is definitely the one that you want to go for. If I get a legendary or fabled hunting gem in a loot box opening, I am happy. Because I think that is the most important one. But yeah, the lucky gem is certainly nice. Certainly worth having. Getting those gem animals is good, and that extra chance is also good. As with all of these gems, though, the difference between common and uncommon is bigger than the difference between legendary and fabled, because here we've gone from a 7 times chance up to an 8 times chance, which is only like a 12% increase or whatever. I'm not bothered doing maths. Whereas going from common to uncommon is a 33% increase. So yeah, once you can start upgrading your gems a little bit, it will have a bigger effect. You don't need to worry too much about the difference between legendary or fabled. It doesn't actually make that much difference, especially since all of these percentage chances are very similar. It means that you're probably going to be using like at least epic gems most of the time, unless you're super active and you use up all of your gems. Then using epic will be fine, and you don't need to worry about it. The people that are out here with fabled gems are not doing that much better than you. It's not even twice as good, look. So yeah, don't worry about it. Gems are important to use, for sure. They are a really big bit of the bot, and they make your hunting extremely OP. But you do not need to worry too much about the high rarity ones. They are certainly nice, and if you want to be super tryhard, you can save them. But for the most part, as long as you are using some gems, it doesn't matter too much. But anyway, I've waffled for plenty long enough, so I will leave this one here. Bye!